Hey, my name's Carl Joe Seacrest, and this is my intro video for school law. This is my family. This is my wife of 28 years, Brenda, and these are our kids. It's Tanner, Emily, Abby, and Millie. And then this summer, Emily got married, and so we added Chancellor to our family. So we have another son. Tanner finally got a brother. Some of the hobbies I like. I like football. I officiate football at the college level, and I'm a huge Chiefs fan. And this is my son and I at the AFC Championship game where the Chiefs played the Tennessee Titans and won a trip to the Super Bowl. So go Chiefs! This is my workplace. This is Allison Middle School. It's part of Wichita 259. And I've been the last 20 years there. I've been the school counselor. It's a 6 through 8 building, and we have 525 students. It is actually a traditional magnet school, even though it's part of Wichita USD 259. It's a magnet school, and so kids apply to go there. Part of our tradition is rigorous academics. We have a strict enforced dress code, and we have a strict enforced code of conduct, I guess you'd say. And so it's a really good school, and we are normally in the top 2 in the district in our test scores every year. We have been number 1 the past couple of years, and we just got notification that for the second year in a row, we are a magnet school of excellence. The school law class is one of the questions we had to answer was what kinds of support do schools receive at the following levels of government: local, state, and federal. And so on this slide, I've kind of combined all 3 of them. At the local level, the state government, which is here in Kansas, is the State Department of Education. They have delegated responsibility and accountability to local school boards, and they are in charge of facilities, personnel, operational dates, which would be a school calendar, financing, and then curriculum. And at the state level, the state government has, like I said, is our Kansas Department of Education, and their responsibilities are passing laws, governing school practices, districting, establishing standards, and providing funding, which would be less than 50%. And then the federal government has the responsibility to ensure the right of a free and high-quality education for K-12 students. And they protect civil rights, providing resources, including data, as far as the some of the research that's done. They write statutes, they distribute funds, and passing laws and policies. Who's in charge at the various levels regarding education? And so here at the local level, we have school boards that are in charge of making sure that the daily operations are working correctly. I'll say that I know the school board superintendent is the one that really makes sure that things are done well. But the school board is an elected position, 4 years overlapping. It's voluntary. And the board does have authority to conduct business and transact district business, adopt policies that they deem appropriate. And here in Hillsboro, the school board president is Mark Roker. At the state level, there's a Department of Education. It's an elected position. There's a board that is elected. It's 4 years overlapping. It's voluntary, and the mission of the state board is to prepare Kansas students for lifelong success through rigorous quality academic instruction, career training, and character development according to each student's gifts and talents. And the Kansans CAN vision is to lead the world in the success of each student. And so that was something, the Kansans CAN vision was adopted by the State Board of Education. And so the high schools are in kind of different levels of making sure that that's implemented right now currently. And so here in Hillsboro, we're in our 3rd year of that. The Kansas board chairman is Kathy Bush, and that's a voluntary position. And then the commissioner is Randy Watson, and that's a paid position. The federal government, the Department of Education Secretary is Betsy DeVos, and she's appointed by the president, and that's a salaried position. And her job really is to ensure that the civil rights are being met, provide funding to facilitate access to educational opportunities, and that includes low-income students and students with disabilities. Support educational research and development to improve teaching. Support development and conditions to promote continuous improvement of systems. Well, the question was asked, who has the most power and control over public education, the local, state, or the federal government? And really, in my opinion, this is a top-down approach, that the federal government really does control the ship, and that the state and local district are boots-on-the-ground people, making sure that the government, the federal mandates are followed, making sure that each student is learning. And so it would be kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, just they control the rudder of the ship, and the state and local governments are making sure that everything on the ship is running correctly, making sure that students are learning. So to me, who has the most power is the federal government, because they're the ones who are kind of setting the course on which direction we need to go. Which level of government has the most influence over the NS number 6 components? So I listed those out here. And component 6.1, I think the local government has the most control over each student's learning on a personal level. Component 6.2, evaluate, develop, advocate for data-informed and equitable resource planning. To me, that's at the state level. And then the next one, the component 6.3, would be reflectively evaluate, communicate about, implement laws and policies and regulations. To me, that's the federal government. How does all this support the educational success and well-being of each student? In some cases, I think it works really well. In some cases, not so much. One important factor that hasn't been a part of this assignment is the parents. And one of the magnets that we have at Allison is parental involvement, high parental involvement. And I think it's a kind of a three-pronged triangle where, if the student does what they're supposed to do, school does what they're supposed to do, and the parent does what they're supposed to do, then it works really well. When we're just talking about the government of things, sometimes that can get lost. It kind of depends on the people that you have in those positions, on how well it works. Here in Kansas, I think it's working really well right now, and our state board has a lot of former educators on it, and those former educators are really bringing a lot of knowledge and kind of setting the course in the correct position. So here's my reference page. I thank you for watching, and hope that you have a great week.